Welcome to another episode of Comics, and today we're looking at a horror comic. I think it's the first scary comic that we've done.
It is.
And we don't have a lot of horror comics in our collection, but I wanted to bring one in. It's got a discount sticker still on it. This is a DC Secrets of Haunted House.
Boogeymanllgetcha.
46, yeah. Boogeymanllgetcha. I partially picked it for that weird catchphrase.
Yeah.
And also, of course, I love these weird little gremlin creatures that are...
It's like the Leprechaun. Did you ever see any of those Leprechaun movies?
No, I was too scared. I think I saw the cover of one at the video store when you worked there when I was a kid, and the cover scared me because I was...
But if you see the movie and you see him...
I think they're really campy, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the poor victim, like, driving away, and the leprechaun is after them in a little tiny car going really fast.
I think now that I'm older, I need to revisit them because as a kid, it seems genuinely scary. But obviously, it doesn't sound that scary to me now that you mention it.
They're fun. Yep.
So this has a bunch of stories in it. There's like a little frame story with this Abel character.
Yeah.
He's Abel from Cain and Abel.
Like in Sandman.
Like in the Bible, yeah. He's
More importantly, Sandman. Neil Gaiman.
I don't remember from It's been so long since I read Sandman, but he's a character in Sandman?
Yeah, Cain and Abel.
Both of them are in it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was a little confused by this first panel. It says, "'Twas the night before Christmas and all through the... Dear reader, the story originally scheduled for this place is totally inappropriate. Refer to your own library if you wish to see the outcome. Now, on with the good stuff," the editor. So I don't know if they're saying like, oh, you would expect a normal Christmas story, but we're going to give you the twisted, spooky version. It's not really...
Gee Willikers.
Abel, and Here Comes Christmas. Yes, sometimes it's hard not to get in the camera and read the text.
Oh, I know.
think that's why it's...
Especially as comic books age, too.
Yeah, the ink is a little hard to read sometimes, so forgive us, audience, for not being able to read. They also weirdly recreate this other comic title, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. Abel's walking with his Christmas haul there, and he sees at the newsstand he wants something to set the mood, I guess, these terror texts, and he buys this Unexpected Tales of the Unexpected or something like that with a little kid who's also buying from a tentacle monster, so they're paying homage to some old...
Oh, that's
They're
awesome.
doing a reference, I guess. And I guess we are treated to what he is going to read. So it's like a story within a story already with the suggestion of a Christmas
another
story.
story.
It's really a weird, confusing first page.
I love
Doesn't
how
matter,
they
though,
do
because
that.
this is the first story proper.
Okay.
They never
All
really
right.
give us a satisfying narrative with Abel. He's just kind of like the little mascot of the episode, of the issue. Boogeymanllgetcha, though. This is the cover story. Really weird eye. The size of his eye is a little awkward there. It makes him look extra evil. So this is a story about an unethical businessman who is getting into a relationship to try to steal this woman's generational wealth.
Is there any other kind?
In the background, there's a heat wave going on. So the energy company has requested that their consumers conserve their AC because there's this heat wave and it's putting a lot of stress on the grid. And you keep hearing about that in the radio, and they're like, "Oh, never mind all of that. We're in this rich penthouse and we're having our date," and their date ends. Meanwhile, this guy has a secret. What is this secret? What is this spotlight that he has rigged on this little closet? Well, Graham's secret is that he has this little goblin man. This is the boogeyman, I guess. It's not, as you might think, it's not green little like buckled hat, witch hat type of, it's not several of them. It's actually just one, and he's got regular flesh tone, and he's got like a similar hat, but I don't know. There was a miscommunication, I think, between cover and interior. So where did this guy come from? What is his deal? Why is he so small? Is he like a gremlin? Is he a gnome? Is he a leprechaun or something? Now that you mention it, well, no, he's not. As he says, ever since your mother told you the boogeyman will get you if you didn't take a bath. Tell me, was it worth all this just to go to bed with a dirty face that night, way back when you were a kid? How can you even ask? So this guy is like a manifestation of this little story that his mom would tell him to motivate him to be clean, and it like, I don't know, I guess he literally exists. So what happened is this little boogeyman has been trying to get him, but he's subdued by this light that's fixed. It's like keeping him in check in this little captive situation. It's nothing personal, but once a parent tells its brat the boogeyman's gonna get him, well, I got a certain contract to fulfill.
Whoa.
It's just my job. Like those cheapo jobs your construction company does, eh, buddy? So not only is this guy, I think, to make him unlikable, like he's the victim of this boogeyman, but he's also like controlling it now, and he's like a fraudulent construction guy. He embezzles from his corporation, his company, rather.
So they're kind of telling you he's got it coming. Whatever's coming, he's got it coming.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like a date scene and a heat wave, and then they pack in like a ton of backstory in these 4 panels. It's really dense with how did we get to this situation? How did you've been on the run ever since Moses was knee-high to a burning bush, but I've always found you. Yep, I'm getting old, pal. I can't move as stealthily as I used to. I jumped a bubble here. But this time I had this little night light waiting for you as soon as I heard you moving around in my closet as I was getting ready for bed one night. So he's had him trapped for a while. He thought he eluded the boogeyman. Then he trapped the boogeyman. Someday that light's going to go off, though, and I love how menacing his little face is there. So as he wipes the sweat from his brow, he goes to his company and says, I sure am embezzling. Good thing no one will ever know, because I'm going to marry this rich lady and then take all of her money to cover up how the books don't work out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I do like these little circle close-ups, because this actually happens later in this story, another little circle. So he proposes. They've just like been dating for a little while, but he's like, why don't we just go to a justice of the peace and get married? And I guess as they flash back or flash through the events, but also fill in her backstory, she's kind of naive. She was like, her father was really successful millionaire, and she's intelligent, but she's not like world wise, so she doesn't see through his deception. And hey, there's that circle again. He's like, just promise me you won't look in that closet with the spotlight on it. You think he could do something better to cover up for her? She's like, I won't look. But no, she's taking the keys to the spotlight room. Because she doesn't have bad motivation. She's like, I just want to help him. If there's something that she doesn't want me to know about, I just want to help him figure it out. And it's like, even without the keys, wouldn't she be able to talk to him? Apparently they can talk through the door, because the boogeyman's like, hello, is someone out there? If you're there, why don't you answer me? Someone in that closet? Oh, please, won't someone let me out? He plays the victim.
Well, yeah, he's going to.
She's not really, that doesn't seem that surprised that there's this tiny little goblin man in the closet.
Yeah.
She just wants to help him. She's not startled by his very existence like most people would be. Like, what the hell? How are you so small? What harm can it do? So she tries to turn the light off. As she's helping him, like the light is really rigged up pretty securely. As she's helping the boogeyman, though, he comes back.
Oh, no.
She's like, how long have you been there? Long enough. Long enough to explain how I want your money, and I'm going to strangle you now that I'll inherit all of your fortune. So he strangles this one who to her last breath is saying, you can't do this to me, darling. You love me.
Oh.
And the boogeyman's like, no.
Wow.
And he's still subdued under the light, but here's the twist. That heat wave that's been putting such a strain on everything, he didn't want to turn his AC down, so his power finally goes out. And of course, he lights a match only to find that his enemy is waiting for him. So finally the boogeyman gets him because he wastes his electricity.
Wow.
So the murderer, the embezzler, and murderer gets his just desserts off camera.
That
Boogeymanllgetcha.
escalated quickly.
Right? It's a quick little story. And that just goes to show, don't waste electricity. The
The
will kill you.
boogeyman will get you.
It also scares kids because it's like if your mom tells you something
Who
like
would
that,
say that,
it'll follow you
though?
around for your whole life. I also
So
like
I have
Batman.
that power.
Don't get any ideas, all right? I knew I would regret picking this one.
This guy.
Today at the Kennel Club Dog Show, we got a furry. Does he have a cigarette in his mouth
It
or a
looks
whistle or
like
something?
it.
I think it's a whistle. Let's see. In the Canine Caper, Batman, Gotham Arena, today, Kennel Club Dog Show. From the outside, it appears the Gotham Dog Show is running normally, but inside, the dogs are running wild. Spike, here, boy. Come back, Poopsie.
Oh my God.
My ultrasonic dog whistle, has every pedigreed pooch in the place following me. Once I've got them where I want them, the owners will pay me a mint to get their precious pets back. The show will be a doggone disaster unless I can stop Canine with these Hostess Twinkies cakes. You don't look like the type of dog who wants a bone, Canine. Munch on these. Rolf Twinkies cakes. It's also weird to say plural Twinkies. Twinkies cakes. It doesn't really, if they said Twinkie cakes, it's easier to say, but Twinkies cakes is awkward to me.
That's really awkward.
Awkward on the mouth. I can't resist that light golden spongy cake and the luscious cream filling. Just like the dogs couldn't resist your whistle, which I have now. And now he'll change to Dogman, now that he has power over dogs. Being chased by dogs, man. Yeah, that tail's a little awkward. He's a villainous... See, they had furries back then. People think it's a new thing. They had the first furry villain.
That's funny.
It can only be portrayed.
Matches. You get a big delight in every bite of the boogeyman will get you.
Great work, Batman. You saved the show. Just don't ask me to run for dog catcher, Commissioner.
Oh,
What
Batman.
a dork.
Oh,
Daytime Batman is a little dorky. He's just out in broad daylight at the dog show.
At the dog
It's a slow day
show.
for Batman.
He's not wearing his tough costume either.
I love the art in this one.
This
Some
is
of the character designs.
crazy.
So this is the Murder Mirror, and we have a writer. This is Jason Morose. What a great name. Jason Morose is a murder mystery writer and a dabbler in the occult arts, and he's looking for something for the bare spot on his wall. So he goes to this curiosity shop, but before he gets in, he's accosted by these hippies. Hey man, can you spare some change? Yeah, like, we need bread. Got any? Get lost, creeps. Same to you, Jack. What a shame, the way these young people act nowadays. Rotten scum. Isn't that goofy? We've got like a weird biker guy with his German cross thing and his German motorcycle helmet. A green-skinned sort of fellow here, zombie-looking. And then the headman kind of like with the tall collar kind of thing going on. So they're like weird hippie biker kind of people. Anyway, they'll come back. Don't worry. Inside the curiosity shop, he explains, I just need something nice for the wall. He says this mirror was owned by the Duke of York in 1805. Before he came to an untimely end, he was a practitioner in the black arts. So, that's enough to close the deal. He's like, well, he liked the black arts like me, and he died mysteriously. I'll take it. Like I will? Like I hope to. He says, how much do you want? Only $100. He says, I only have 50. I'll take it. It's like that doesn't set off alarms to
red
him.
flag, red
Wait,
flag,
you said
red
100?
flag.
You'll take 50% off? Damn. So,
Wow.
thank you. Come again. And as Jason Morose thinks to himself, I cheated the old fool. I had over $200 with me, and I'll bet it's worth more than that. We shall see who has cheated whom, Mr. Morose. So this guy can read his thoughts, apparently. I know. I love the little hairlines.
Yes.
Some of these
The
drawings
expression
are
on
great.
his face is, really good.
Great. Rick Estrada did the art here. Very
Nicely
good. I like it.
done, yeah.
So, what happens, but the mirror turns out to depict like a horrifying version of whoever looks into it, and it drives them to insanity.
Mm.
This mirror seems to distort all that appears in it. That old fraud robbed me. My face, my hands, they're bloody, horrible. Am I going mad? And he decides that for his novels, he writes these mystery, like thriller novels. The murders aren't real enough, so he needs to go participate in murder to really make his writing more authentic. I guess the mirror makes him realize that in his madness. So we encounter, who is it but the hippie biker guys. Hey man, you got some bread now? And he has this pointy little dagger. I love this panel. The threatening dagger and his facial expression is so twisted there.
Oh, yeah.
I like how his features get so simplified and he becomes this like yellow version of himself. I also like those eyes there.
Yes.
Anyway, so he
well
murders
done.
the hippies, of course. I have no bread, but I do have some butter. No, he says, but I have something else. Come closer. And he kills them. He kills them all. And even though he's now inspired to write a really realistic version of murder, he eventually is drawn to kill himself by this depiction of himself as a skeleton, because this turns out to be Satan's own mirror. Satan needed a mirror.
He needs an ending for his novel.
Yeah, so just like Satan combed his hair in this and looked, it's like, oh man, I look like a skeleton, so he gave it to the Duke of York or something. It drives him to suicide. The cops get there and say, by the looks of it, he must be this slasher that's been killing people, because in the background in the news we learn that these aren't the only murders. It wasn't enough that he killed these 3 guys, but he's been on a spree. This lady sneaks in and takes the mirror. These are some lousy cops. They don't even notice that somebody's like tampering with the crime scene. He's like, I'll sneak away. I bet it's worth a fortune. So we have the end, question mark, because now Satan's mirror is in this lady's possession. Who knows what havoc it'll wreak with its new owners.
There's evil in everybody's hearts.
I guess that's the moral of the story.
It's not just scorpions.
This is the shortest story. This is Seeker, and I really, really like this art as well. S.R. Bazette, I guess, is the artist. Not much of a story to this one, and we have Cain pop back up, or Abel, excuse me. This is Abel of Cain. There are countless rooms, endless corridors. Each has its own occupants and its own tales to tell. So I guess these are the narrative threads. He's trying to be like, I know this is only 2 pages, but we're going to try to make this a complete story.
It's almost like a poem.
Yeah, it almost makes me think somebody had some really cool art and they just needed to work on something else, but they're like, I should do something with this. Because the whole story is that this like wraith-like woman has been searching everywhere through this house with all these rats, and it's this kind of abandoned place. What is she searching for? This teddy bear. I love this drawing of him running from room to room trying to hide from her, and then we get the up close of him looking back at this woman's spirit. You naughty dear, oh, where are you? It has wandered these halls since she was a little girl, a plaything possessed by a mindless mischief corrupted into malevolence. It has always eluded her. Where are you? It always will. Where are you? And she will always be the seeker.
Wow.
So I guess she's looking for her toy from when she was a child. And he doesn't want to be
evil
found.
teddy bear.
I love this drawing of the teddy bear.
Yeah, that's twisted.
Well, I think she's the seeker. I think he's just trying to get away. I think he's scared of her because she looks like that most of the time. But
it
truly,
started when she was little.
Yeah. Well, she's a child in the first panel. She grows up, she withers into like a skeletal version, and then she becomes a child. It's like an endless cycle. She'll never find her teddy bear. She's trapped in this cycle until she can get the teddy bear. The teddy bear's too scared of her. Or evil. Maybe he's evil.
I think he's evil. Look at him. He's evil.
He looks like a victim there to me. So that's the whole Seeker story. The next one is Young at Heart. Pretty good art, but I think my favorite art in all this anthology is the Seeker and the Devil's Mirror, Satan's Mirror.
Yeah, this is nice though. Nice colors.
It's a more realistic style. I like it. It's just less wild than the last one, but yeah, really good art still. So this is mostly like a story that happens in the gossip between these two ladies. So they're like, that Elizabeth Crowley, they say she walked out of the woods when my grandpa was a boy, and how come she's still young? I think she's linked to all these missing children, if you tell me. And the other ladies, well, you can't go accusing people of stuff like that. I don't like her either. And that's kind of most of the text and dialogue is them going back and forth about like the rumors about this lady. And she's like, you know what, they're right. These meddling old biddies. She goes back to her forest house. She's like, but I do have to live close to them because I thrive on something that I need from this town. So she's worried that the old ladies are onto her. She does drive by a circus, though. Interesting. That might come into play later. We don't really learn why, what she needs, or if she truly is the cause of these missing children, or if she really is a witch, as they're hinting at. So we go around. Now, why in heaven's name would she go around stealing other folks' children? She's a strange one, Sarah. Who knows what goes through her mind? There's a lot more of like just gossip between these characters, and it seems to be coming true because we have these two children now finding the lady's hut. We got lost. Maybe they can give us directions. So it kind of seems like it's playing out exactly as these old biddies would have you believe.
It's like they're creating it.
How did you come to these woods? We just wanted to explore a little, but we've been gone a long time. They're going to miss us. Then you have told no one where you were going. That is not wise at all. Meanwhile, the old ladies are going to a beauty shop, and you say, don't you think calling her evil is a little strong? They're going back and forth on whether this lady truly is, and it seems like, she's creeping up behind the kids like a Hansel and Gretel style thing. Finally, we go back and forth panel to panel from the beauty shop back to the scene in this lady's kitchen. She reveals that she thrives off their youth. She can absorb their youth by touching them or something, I guess. I thought she was going to eat them or something. Something really grisly.
She drains their life force.
Yeah, she drains it. But it backfires. What? You're tainted. She's starting to get older instead of becoming even younger. Usually, she's nourished by the youth, stealing their energy, but she becomes old. What's happening to her, Carl? I don't know, Christine. I just want to get out of here and get back to the circus. And we're revealed it's a kind of a subtle thing, because as they flee, somewhere along the way it caught on fire. As they flee her burning little hut there, we see in the beauty shop window, they're advertising the circus featuring the world's smallest acrobatic midgets, Carl and Christine. So they weren't children. She tried to steal youth from some old midgets. And she absorbed their age, I guess. They just looked young. They were acting childlike, but they're adults. So she picked the wrong victims, and she paid the price. And these two ladies will never really know the truth. But
Isn't that weird?
I know, that's a weird way to frame the story. It gives it another layer.
Right.
I kind of like that about it.
It's interesting. And witches' houses always catch on fire.
I think it's supposed to be one of those things of like, maybe it'll be scarier to the kids reading it, because they're like, we all talk about like, what if this crazy thing's really going on, and then we never have any proof, or we think we're silly, but maybe things really are going on with the midgets.
Wow.
This is a hilarious panel of all these sharp things flying at this lady. So this one is about phobias. This story is about, you might be afraid of something irrational like balloons or like clouds or something because of some psychological problem or issue. This one doesn't seem like a crazy phobia. I think everybody would be scared of all the sharp objects in their house flying at them. It's not that exotic of a phobia. Don't you think?
I mean, it's unusual. It's almost personifying them.
We'll find out why, though. So this character is waking up from a dream. She says, a box. I must have what's in it. Whatever is inside belongs to me.
I always think, every box, I must have what's in it.
I must have it. As we all say when we see a box, whatever is inside belongs to me. Not that. Not that. So she finds like a steak knife, a butcher knife or whatever, and then scissors and a straight razor and this big chopping, I guess that would be like the butcher style knife. They all come flying at her, but she wakes up. It was a dream. And they say, wow, you've been having these dreams ever since you were a kid. Well, why? We actually discover it. It's these same two people who are now married. Says, thanks for carrying my books, even though you have your own to carry. Oh, it's no sweat. Well, I better get going back home to where my dad works. We live above the butcher shop. And so she's like, I don't like all this. There's all these slaughtered meat and it's stinky in here and all those awful knives.
What the heck is that shape like?
It's that's a glazed donut. It just lost its shape. Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Ew.
So she hates, I hate the awful chill I get when he opens the door and the meat, they look like bodies hanging up there. So it's already disturbing. You might think, oh, okay, she associates the knives with like, maybe she has a problem with her father, but she definitely has a problem with her father because her mother comes down and they're bickering about being wasteful or like, you're spending too much money on the canned items again and your friends are hanging out at the butcher shop too much. Says, my friends aren't good enough for you. And in a fit of rage, murders her mom right in front of her. Get up, Gloria, please, get up. I never meant. So he regrets it immediately, but it's like, damn, don't lose your temper.
Why are you carrying a knife around?
Don't antagonize the butcher. He'll kill you.
Wow.
I do really like this panel, too, of the silhouette.
The silhouette is nice.
And her reactions.
Wow.
That's pretty intense. So, that'll mess you up.
Yeah, that'll do it to you.
You, I didn't know you were there. You, it's like his daughter. You. Why not call her by name? How much did you see? How much? Probably everything, right? Help, Tommy, help me. So, she carried the scars of that trauma for too long. Tomorrow, I'll have to find some way to help her forget her fear of knives. So, after realizing that the murder of her mom with a butcher knife is what's triggering her strange behavior, he's like, don't worry about the silverware. I'll be in charge of all that stuff. But even just seeing a knife, like a steak knife, causes her to have that association.
Wow.
And she cuts her own kid. She starts stabbing him. He's got a couple wounds there. It just drives her into a mania like her dad. And so she sees, this is 2 years after that incident, she sees a specialist, I guess, and he says, you got to get rid of anything sharp in your house. I'm talking silverware, scissors, razors. Clean out your garage. Get rid of your lawnmower.
Wow.
Hedge clipper, shears.
Paper?
Stop cutting your hair. Yeah, no paper. He even says, sand down the sharp points on all the household furniture.
Whoa.
Because that would remind her of when she starts picking up the whole countertop, cutting people with it. But apparently it works for a while.
Wow.
So the husband does have to leave, though. And he's like, I got to go get more plastic tableware. I'll be back in a few minutes. Try not to stab anyone.
Whoa.
You think it has a happy ending? No. Because when he gets back, Daddy, she cut me, Daddy. She cut me again. What the hell happened? Oh, it was that box. Dear Miss Mayhew, congratulations. You may already have won big prizes in our grand prize giveaway. These brand new stainless steel kitchen knives are yours to keep, even if you don't enter our super sweepstakes. So she got some gimmicky, send away free knives, and it triggered. Look how evil she looks now in that panel. And she murdered her.
Her kid.
She still cuts people, Daddy. It's so disturbing.
That's
one of my favorite ones, just because it's like the twist is. I don't know. I feel like the twist is earned on that one of like such a goofy thing to come in the mail and it triggers a murder. I don't know.
Wow.
And we end with Abel again, talking to his stuffed animals. I guess Cain would be so proud of me, Goldie. It's been a great goof-free day. Whack! It does look like you've broken that jinx of bad luck that haunts you, but who is Goldie? All I see is you, me, and Teddy. Goldie is my friend, Doodles. Goldie is special. For some strange reason, I am the only one who can see Goldie, but you're just a duck. How could you understand? Merry Christmas, everybody. The Abel things are very nonsensical and just like, it's filler. It's like, so he not only does he have like this teddy bear we think he's talking to, then there's a duck who is not like a stuffed creature, and then he has an imaginary friend none of us can see. It's very weird. And he says, let's not remind Abel that he forgot to put all the toys in the packages before he wrapped them. So that's their little goofy joke at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's got its charm, but it's like...
I don't think you can end the comic on a mom murdering her child and be like, that's all, folks! It's just kind of a weird, like... I guess that's the charm of it, though, is it's like a very macabre comic, but at the same time... You know, it has a sense of humor. It has a pretty campy sense of humor. I like that about it. But that was a lot of fun. A lot of stories in one issue.
It was packed.
These anthologies are really dense. And talk about,
But
in the other episode, I was talking about the Black Pirate being so compressed. But this is nothing. This is like nonstop compression.
But I think that when you're talking about things that scare you or just unsettle you, it doesn't take much. It could take just like a sentence.
Just the suggestion.
Creep you
That's
out.
the scariest stuff.
So it doesn't have to be like this big, huge story.
Sometimes just the premise of like, maybe there is a mirror still out there. Maybe you never know if you're looking in it.
Yeah, and the look on that lady's face, she looks like an innocent old lady, and she's, going down into her basement or whatever with that mirror, and you know what's going to happen. That's all you need to like create all kinds of stuff in your head. That was a good story. That was a good comic. I
really like this one. So you got a Marvel comic for us today. I think it's a New Mutants miniseries. Number 1 in an 8-issue limited series, Fallen Angels.
Fallen Angels, one moment of anger, and their lives are changed forever.
Ooh, so Sunspot.
And I chose it for the cover because it's very dramatic, and also for this character.
That character design is awesome. I love the... Amazing. I'm not a big fan of the color yellow. I don't know why I don't have a preference for that color, but that's a great use of it. Mm-hmm. It's definitely cool. This must be Cannonball and Sunspot, I think. So in a disagreement, they're suggesting he killed him or hurt him really bad.
Yeah. And I don't remember off the top of my head, and I didn't look into... I didn't go to Wiki to Marvel Wiki to... learn more information about the characters. So I don't... This is the first of their books that I've read in decades.
I think that's part of the charm, though. That's what I try to do as little research as possible and only look things up when it's really confusing because that's... Growing up, that's how I encountered a lot of these comics. Just pulling a random one, and it might be in the middle of a series, and just going with whatever. I wouldn't necessarily read them chronologically.
Right, and not knowing and just learning what you learn in a book, it makes you want to pick up that next book.
Well, sometimes not knowing what's going on or not knowing the previous issues, it makes you notice more things about the art or other elements of it because you're not as fixated on I got to know what's happening.
Good point.
This looks like 1987. It looks like it's from the year I was born. I think we've been doing a lot of 83s and 82s and stuff like that recently.
1987, April.
Oh, wow. This was slightly before I was born. I like the font of the story.
Yeah.
By the way.
So we open on a soccer game. And in this game, when they play outside the mansion, they're playing without their powers. So they're playing like regular kids. And it's from his point of view, from... Roberto da Costa. He's 14 years old. And although I am a Brazilian, I no longer reside in the country of my birth. He speaks very dramatically. But anyway...
Very formal for a 14-year-old.
But before, the discovery of his powers and everything, football was his passion. He wanted to play football at the highest level. And... the game is going. His team is winning, of course, and the other captain is his best friend. And so he kicks a goal, and they're celebrating, and their team is, what is it? Another point for Acosta's Demons.
DaCosta's Demons. Wow.
And he goes, laugh all you want to, Shorty, but he's Southern. my Guthrie's gorillas still have one more quarter to get even in.
Oh gosh.
And so, they're trash talking everything. And then over in the distance, you have. Now, how do you say her name? Is it Rainy? It's Irish, right?
Yeah, I think it must be Rain. I don't know.
But I love the way Warlock talk. Friend Rain, may self make a query. It's cute. And she's like, of course, Warlock. Ask me anything you want to know. I love his face, his expression. He just looks bonkers, doesn't he?
I love the shape of his hand and that.
Yes. I mean, if you saw him, it would be like,
character.
holy shit, he looks insane.
Oh, yeah.
He looks so insane. And
that would be a good cosplay to figure out.
and basically he's asking her, well, why aren't you playing? And she's like, well, when I'm not in my wolf form, she's like, I'm no good at sports. And besides, it makes the teams even if I'm over here. And she enjoys being over here. So, and then he goes, query, puff plants are not sentient beings? And she's like, the dandelions? No, they have no hearts or minds, if that's what you mean. Is it acceptable to consume life glow? And so that's what he does.
He becomes one.
Is that
then he
awesome?
Absorbs it. That's crazy.
But his eyes are always funky.
Googly. I love that.
So it shows like his power and how he like digitizes pretty much basically
he
everything.
Gives it a virus.
Yeah, and then he
turns it
consumes
into his technological form.
And basically, it explains to how he is a mutant because in his world, in his species, they don't have like empathy or they don't have that what he has. Like he can empathize and feel things and they just want to turn everything.
They're like the Borg.
They're like the Borg, yeah. They want to assimilate everything. So we cut back to his hair is crazy. Just with that little dark drawing, it's just awesome. I love him. But then we cut back to the soccer game. And then we cut to the office. And guess who is the teacher of these newer mutants? But Magneto.
Professor X. Damn. The master of magnetism himself?
I know, is that cool? It's a cool premise. It shows his the guys he used to hang out with.
His old crew there. We got Toad, Blobbin, the creature from the Black Lagoon.
I know. Who only wanted to supplant humanity.
The Vanisher. That's funny because I think we had the what are they called? The League of Evil Mutants or whatever. But they had the other guy that made it wasn't the Vanisher. He made those illusions, and they were really easily defeated. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah.
It was It was a what if where Wolverine was acting in deep cover for Magneto in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. It was not the Vanisher, I think. It was a guy in a brown costume that looked kind of like Middle Ages-esque. I forget his name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's a weird. Too. I wonder if that's just a variation of that kind of character.
But he is having thoughts on his ability to run the school and do the report cards, and he realizes he's not the teacher that Xavier was.
Is Xavier dead, or is this just a different school?
No, he's off doing something that. What is that alien?
The Shi'ar?
The Shi'ar, yeah. So I think that's the timeline of this. So anyway, so he is going to do what he can to bring somebody to help him run the school. And he makes a call. And he's calling Moira. But she is in a lab on this island with, what is her name? Siren. That would be, I don't know if I would be happy if that were my mutated power.
Just to blow people's eardrums up with your screeches.
Yeah, I mean...
Isn't she a lot like Banshee? They have like the same costume, right?
Yeah, and then this guy, I don't remember this guy, and I went and I read over it several times.
Multiple Man. Jamie Madrox.
That's okay.
Because these are all clones of him.
Right.
He can duplicate himself.
But they're in there, and she said, "Oh, the phone's ringing. We got to make
Quit
her
screaming,
stop."
please.
Yeah. And so he goes out there, and to get her attention, he
I do
multiplies.
like all these lines to convey her screaming. It kind of has a cool look with the lines on her cape.
On her
I think
cape,
that's
yeah.
probably why they do that. That's cool.
Yeah. So
Or to let her fly. I guess she can fly too.
I mean,
she's
the sound
gliding?
waves. Sound,
She's riding a
you
sound
could-
wave.
you could bounce them off of things, and the Doppler effect, that whole. But anyway, it's hilarious that she's like, "Oh, that's better. This is Dr. McTaggart. Who is this, please?"
It's Magneto.
It's Magneto. So he talks to her about coming, and he takes. It's like, I thought he was okay, he can open the
It's
drawer.
metal
I
paper.
understand. Yeah, it's like, is it
He got special
full of-
metal paper.
full of paper clips
He
or
has
staples?
he has his secretary put extra staples and everything. And really thick paper clips.
And this, for a minute, out of the corner of my eye, I was like, "Hey, but no, it's just a sculpture." But anyway, we cut
Is that
back.
Beast? No.
We cut back to the game, and he's taking a shot at the goal at DaCosta, and he grabs it, but they collide. And then he gets an elbow to the chin, like an uppercut. He falls right on his neck.
Yeah, damn.
And it triggers him, and he takes his solar power and just, get off.
He's got that long, tall Peter Parker, Steve
Yes,
Ditko
he
head.
does, and his hair.
Yeah.
He's got, and it throws him into a tree.
Damn, could paralyze him. Speaking of Spidey,
Spidey and Captain Crunch.
oh, it's about damn time they
The
teamed
ultimate
up.
dream team.
A final edition of the Daily Bugle bears bad breakfast news. Breakfast. I can't read. Captain Crunch captured by Smogmaster.
What?
The Smogmaster, the natural enemy of Captain Crunch. Fate of Crunch power uncertain. Soggies may rule. Well, somewhere in Sogland, I'm sorry, it's the Sogmaster, not the Smogmaster. Yuck, no solid evidence here, but I suspect the captain's nearby. Meanwhile, on a hill slop. Yikes!
Ew.
It's Spider-Man, Sogmaster! He won't be bugging us for long. So these are the Sogmaster's henchmen, I guess.
That Sog Mountain is gross.
It is really gross. I guess you just don't want your... Like, Captain Crunch doesn't get soggy? Is that what they're trying to imply
Yeah,
here? It's weird that they
yeah.
have so much action, and then there's just like, this one's just pure commercial right here. Oh no! Will Spidey free the captain before it's too late? He might, and you can help him during the Free the Captain sweepstakes.
Oh my gosh.
Boxes of Captain Crunch cereal have exciting games, clues, and secret phone numbers to tell you how. If you do free the captain, you could be one of 10,000 winners to share $1 million.
What?
My giant fly splatter will finish that pest.
Fly splatter.
Yeah, he's a spider, not a fly. My spider sense tells me I better find Captain Crunch and spin on out of here fast, or breakfast will be doomed, and I'll be sogged. You don't need your spider sense to tell you that. That was even worse than the Twinkies one.
Yeah,
Spidey.
that was rough.
I could see why you don't see.
But
It's
look
not.
how
It's no hostess
innocent.
comic.
Look how innocent he is.
Well, he's in jail. He
like,
got
"Help
walled
me."
off except for his little eye hole.
Help me. So anyway, the crash happens. I love this Warlock. He's
That's
like,
a great reaction.
alarm, confusion, dismay. Everything runs together. Confusion, alarm, explanation. And but how everybody else saw it happen from their angle, they think DaCosta just, lost it, just, couldn't handle being beat, so he used his power, which, they're not supposed to, and they weren't. And he's like, I thought you were my friends. How can you talk like such idiots? And because they're pissed. I mean, he's out for the count. And so anyway, they get Bobby to explain it to you, Warlock. He's the one who did it. And they won't let me near Sam, not even to see if he's all right and help if he can. If I can. They do not trust me to. So he's butthurt big time. He's freaking out. He ripped his head off.
That's a great pose.
I
love that reaction. Too.
Yes. And Is Fred Sam's life glow fading? Please, friend Danny, explain. I could just imagine in a movie with him, it would be so. He has a charm appeal, you know.
Yeah, they'd have to do like a talk box keyboard effect or something for his voice. That would sound cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a movie with him in there. So yeah, he's just flipping out, and he goes, "My friends no longer want me among them. They are right." He's hurt. His feelings are hurt. You know, they don't want to listen to him. But
he couldn't control it.
Yeah, I mean, it hurt him.
Yeah. It just kicked in.
So then Magneto comes running. He's like, "What's happened here?" And they explain to him, and they get Bobby to come to, and what is current status of Friend Sam's life glow? It's really cute. But man, his expressions are always way over the top.
His head is at a complete right angle. I love it.
Jubilation. And so they're taking him to the doctor. And then we have DaCosta. He's in his room and he's thinking and thinking of his parents. Like, what am I to do? My friends don't want me here. My parents, I can't go to them. His father was a businessman. And all he thinks about is his business and his money. And he actually joined the Hellfire Club. And his mom is an archaeologist, and all she cares about are dead people and bones and stuff. So he's despondent. And he goes, "I wish Professor Xavier were here. He always understood." Bobby's his best friend in the entire world. So, you know, you can remember back to how you felt as a teenager. And
when I almost killed my best friend.
With your superpower.
It's happened many times.
So he goes in, and nobody's there. And he sees his report card. And Xavier talks about how a most precocious lad, but also, I expect, deeply troubled. His father, whom Roberto idolized, joined the ranks of the Hellfire Club, the very people responsible for the death of Roberto's girlfriend.
Oh, yikes.
And Roberto and Sam have grown especially close. My hope is that Sam provides a stabilized influence. Roberto's brash self-confidence could so easily become arrogance, and from there lead him eventually down the road chosen by his father. So now, you know, that's got to rub your ego.
Yeah, you don't want to read. Professor X had that to say about you. It cuts deep.
Yeah. And then we get cut to the doctor. And he's okay. A little bit of a concussion, no homework, no, running around, take it easy. You see Warlock. They're like,
oh, he can disguise himself?
Yeah, they're like, hold it together in your human form, you freak out the doctor. And friend Bobby showed great alarm and concern. Surely when he hears friend Sam's well-being is established, he will express regret. The way he talks is just so cute.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like the way they run the words together like that.
Yeah. And then we cut to Moira, and they're packing up, and everybody's going to come and join them, and she's going to help Magneto run the school. So I think in the rest of the series, it's going to tell a whole story and establish a place and time for this whole group.
Yeah. This seems to be the issue that focuses on Roberto, but I bet other issues develop the other characters from their point of view more.
Yeah. So they go, and they're like, "Hey, Roberto, Bobby's okay." And then the lights are out. It's like nobody's there. And then he left a note. And so Magneto reads this note, and "You were all right, and I was wrong. It was terrible of me to hurt Sam, who is the best friend I ever had. You are all good friends, and I've been proud to know you all, and be one of you. But I do not belong here. I know that now. I'm an evil person. And he really escalated this whole thing.
Yeah.
And if I stay, I will only end up hurting someone or disgracing you. I saw my report card, so I know Professor Xavier knew this too. Farewell. Please forgive me. And tell Sam I hope his head is better soon. Roberto."
It
And
was nice of him to write it in a way where the panel could narrow, and
yes,
he really lined up the typewriter just right for it to be slightly out of frame.
and I love his mouth.
He's freaking out.
He must always just be, you know, like
Yeah.
just.
That's what would make him such a cool animated character. I think.
Yes. Yeah, but I think that movies have progressed enough now with CGI that they could really do a
Oh,
great
yeah.
job with him.
Yeah.
So he sends them, you know, to the rooms and everything, and what did he say? When the New Mutants were first formed, the Hellfire Club killed Bobby's little girlfriend, and at that time, I was working for him. He forgave me for that. So Bobby was working for the Hellfire Club.
Oh, yikes.
So he has a dark history. And so Magneto tells him, it appears that those of you who wanted your pound of flesh have received it. I suggest all of you go to your rooms and contemplate that while I think of some way of repairing the harm that's been done this day. I like Magneto as a authority figure.
Yeah.
You know, not pounding people. This is great.
That plane.
This
That's
is great. So he's thinking, I won't read all his stuff, but it's just great. I love this. And friend Bobby cannot have been gone for long. Self will seek him in Manhattan using greatest possible speed.
That's so cute. His little teeth.
And it's but the expressions are amazing.
Yeah, that's some great cartooning.
He's a great character. And then it cuts to New York. And it shows not Bobby. Well, Bobby here, but he's out of money. The bus.
I think I shall starve. He didn't
Yeah.
have much of a plan, did he?
No, not at all. And he didn't want to steal from his friends. So he
Yeah.
only
Well,
took
that's
what he had.
good.
So he's not evil. He told him, I'm evil.
He's just troubled.
Yeah, he's just hurt, you know? And so he walks by, and he's noticed by this person who looks like they're trouble. And then in the next panel, you have, hey, mister, you want to buy a calendar? And pretty dated. What does he say? Very cheap, Oriental beauties, all of the months of the year.
Oh, my.
And this person rips him up and says, basically goes on a rant about how her family, or this person's family, was brought over here to work for, what's his name here? It's basically a guru type guy who promised them citizenship, but they have to work money to earn it, and it's this horrible, you know.
It's probably how those calendars are made.
And so she takes the money and calendars, and he's like, You're not a boy at all. You're a girl. You're the one they call Chance the Renegade. I'm going to tell the Reverend Park. And so, sure, you tell him there's no chance for him in this town. Not as long as I'm on the street. And then she takes off. So she escaped from this whole cult thing. And then she's counting the money, and she comes on these bad guys who are like, hey, you know, she's walking around with the money. And so they try to take it, and she gets away. She puts a few moves on him and gets away. And she's like, all you have to do is come and get it. And she takes off running. Of course, runs into a dead,
no.
you know, that was bound to happen. And now, and their knives come out. And she's like, hey, don't be mad. I was just teasing here if you want the money. And then you see, do not be afraid, miss. And don't demean yourself by trying to appease these jackals. I assure you, there is no need. If they try to harm you, I shall stop them. And they're like, it's a joke, right? And she's like, the new kid, he came back. Will you? And she looks shocking because I'm sure he's not containing his power. Nope, there he is. And he's some kind of freak. Well, let's get him anyway. I ain't afraid of no freaks. Who says that? When someone's glowing.
Yeah.
And it's like
That's
not
bold.
even, it's like glowing and dark, you know? It's that's scary. And then she's all excited and everything, and he takes on these bad guys like they're nothing. And he's holding them up, and he's like, why do I feel so strange? And you see him shaking a little bit. And then he goes down to his knees, and the power, it's being drained away. Not good enough, were you, freako?
Uh-oh.
Let's see what good a lead pipe is against a freak.
Oh, yikes.
And then to be continued.
That took a quick turn.
I know. So,
Great
for this...
art here.
Yeah. I love how, even though the bricks are really busy, and the bricks are in every panel, it's still, there's enough space, visual space to...
Yeah, this purplish pink really sells that he's getting weaker.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it seem like it's taking a turn for the worse. I like that.
His light is dimming.
I don't remember Comet Man, but I like the design here. That's pretty cool. It's got some long hair.
Yeah.
It's got the Haley Comet hair.
He's got the Superman, what book was that we had where his hair was glorious like
I think
that?
it was the Mullet Saga.
Oh, yeah.
Death of Superman, I think.
But anyway, there's the first in the series, and I want to know more.
Yeah, Warlock really steals the show, doesn't he?
He does, but I think in a comical way, but in a very empathetic way too. So you can't write him off as just comic.
Yeah, it's weird because he's like a super alien character, but at the same time, it seems like they try to use him to explain the emotional dynamics of the different characters and their relationships. So he's like kind of our point of view character of understanding the dynamics of the team, because he's like he's the outsider, just like we're coming to this situation new. But it's weird to have that outsider character also be, I mean, it gives everyone a good reason to explain, like, this is what's going on, or why you should feel this way.
Doesn't it look, though, like if this was you and you were making those extreme movements like he does, that your body would be exhausted at the end of the day?
Yeah, if you weren't that type of alien, I guess.
Because it just looks like he's always moving and morphing.
I know.
And everything is like at
It would
11.
be cool to animate it in like a really abrupt way with the computer. Like, instead of making it too smooth, have it be these really fast and jarring changes. Similar to the comic where it just jumps panel to panel to really divergent shapes.
Yeah. But basically, he kind of stole the show with this whole layout. That's all him.
I know. I didn't even really remember this character, but now that you pick this comic, it really remembers reading some of these when I was a kid. But he was always one of my favorites.
Yeah, I want to read more. I definitely want to read more because I forgot about her wolf character.
Yeah, I forgot about a lot of these characters.
I have no clue.
They
I'm gonna have to.
They didn't really get their moment for this one, but
Not
I'm sure.
Yet, but I'm excited to find the rest of them and read them.
Yeah, definitely.
And
that
is
really
it
cool.
for this episode of Comics. If you like it, give us a like, a comment. Give us a suggestion. Is there a book that you want us to look to see if we have? We'll gladly do that. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.